All right, welcome back to Freedom Rocks channel. Haven't been on in a while, but I guess that's just the way life goes sometimes. So, all right, so tonight, we're going to talk about Noah's Ark. We're going to do some basic um, stats about it and kind of get a physical picture in our head, kind of how big it was, and like some timelines and different things like that. Just the basic numbers and stuff like that. And I know these are not exact. Um, there's a lot of theologians and scientists and different people out there with different opinions, but I take mainly most of my um, stats from Ark Encounter, which is out of Kentucky, where they physically built the ark according to the biblical sizes, with some help from geologists and scientists and whatever, and with the stuff that they found in the ground. So it's pretty accurate. Of course, the Bible is the most accurate, but you don't have every single detail in there. So anyway, so I guess start at the top here. It says, how old was Noah when he built the ark? It says in Genesis 7 that he was 600 years old. And 600 years old, that's up to pretty good. So how long did it take Noah to build the ark? Well, it took 50 to 75 years to build it. So some say maybe 100, but roughly 50 to 75. How big was the ark? According to Ark Encounter in Kentucky, it was 500 feet long, 85 feet wide, and 51 feet tall. So it was pretty good size. So a football field is 300 feet. So this was like almost like a football field and a half, maybe. If you've ever been to a football game. And probably just as wide and 50 feet tall. So it was a pretty good sized boat. You could fit 450 semi trailers inside of it, 450 18-wheeler trailers inside of it. So it's pretty good size. And according to Ark Encounter, it was the largest boat or ship ever recorded to be built. So it was pretty good size. How many animals was in there? Roughly, if you could picture 120,000 sheep, or I would probably guess maybe like 100,000 cows or something. If you're driving along the field or whatever, and you see hundreds of animals, it's a lot more than that you can see out in the field. So 120,000 sheep, that's a lot. What kind of wood did he build it? Douglas fir. Some scientists say that it had bamboo floors. And then, of course, in the Bible, it says gopher wood. So these woods that he used were weather resistant and, weathered up pretty good against the weather and stuff outside. So, and of course, and then he covered it with, I forget the exact word, but he covered it with some kind of a tar. So not only was it had good wood, it was also sealed up. So it was a pretty good, strong boat. And how long was Noah on the ark? From when he first started gathering up animals and shut the door, God shut the door, from when he stepped off was a little over a year. Give or take maybe a week or so, but roughly a year. Their calendar was a little bit different than ours. And if you translate that from their time to our time, it was, I don't know, like a year and 10 days or something. But like I said, this is just kind of average, but so you can almost say a year. So that's a long time. So yeah, it was a huge boat. Took a long time to build, and Noah was old. So a lot of crazy settings right there. I mean, it was like, okay, nowadays if you saw somebody do that, I don't know. Anyway, I guess and if you look at the story of Noah, this old crazy old man, everybody thought he was crazy building this boat because he heard from God, and he was building it because he warned them, of the rain, and the earth was going to be destroyed and stuff like that. I'm sure there was a buzz about it, around at that time, um, and I'm sure there were people helping him build it as well. Even though God only saved his family, I'm sure there was other people helping him build it. Um, they believed up to the point of, okay, I'll help you build it, kind of like, okay, I'll kind of go along with it type thing. But they, I don't know what they thought, but anyway, I think he had help building it. I don't think it was just his family. And everyone, I at least heard of it. It was a buzz. It was this big thing happening, and but at the end of it, God only saved Noah's family. Um, and the reason for that is because they truly believed in what God had said was going to happen. Um, I think there's a lot of Christian workers out there um, who jump through the hoops. They go to church. They do this. And I'm not saying they're all not all that bad, but I mean, they just do a lot of God work, but yet they don't truly believe. And when it comes down right to it, believing and having faith in God, like Noah's family, they were protected. Um, if we don't truly believe and truly carry the faith, we go through a lot of unnecessary things that happen to us. Um, you know, it's just the way it happens. I mean, if we don't follow God's word and follow His direction, a lot of things we make a mess of ourselves, and we don't get the true protection of God as we would if we truly believed and truly had the faith. Um, and when we do believe and stand strong, um, sometimes it's not comfortable. Um, but I think that is when our spiritual journey or spiritual growth happens the best or happens the most, is when we're not comfortable. When we step out like Noah did, and I'm sure he wasn't comfortable, but yet he hung on to the belief, he hung on to trust, he hung on to faith, and that's where we grow. And that's what he did. His ship grew, his boat grew, his protection grew as he believed. And that's when we get closer to God, is when we step out of our comfort zone, so to speak. And then, kind of another aspect is what even though Noah was in the ark and he was protected, I'm sure he wasn't comfortable either. I don't think he sat in a chair and kind of said, "All right, but you got to feed the animals at 3 o'clock, and don't forget to clean out that cage or whatever." Um, I'm sure there was. Well, I know there was different levels, different chambers, different areas of organization. There was food. There was, um, the animals doing their business, so to speak. I mean, there was a lot going on. Plus the sounds of the animals. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you go to a zoo, but being confined in an area where, oh man. So I'm sure he wasn't comfortable as well, doing chores and doing this and a lot of going on. Um, but he was still protected. And I'm sure he heard, the weather outside and the rain. And then once the rain stopped, he's like, well, I like to get out now, patience, Um, so even though his boat was stuck on top of this mountain, Mount Ararat, he couldn't get out because it wasn't ready for him to get out because there was still water there. So he sent the bird out, and they didn't come back, and then that knew that it was dry. So then God opened the door. So I know I went over a lot of details there, but that's kind of in a nutshell. So I guess basically saying that even though he was protected, um, he was still in a storm, but he wasn't still 100% comfortable either inside. But bottom line is he was protected. And he survived. When he got out, when the door came open, he had a whole new world to start with. He had a whole new slate to start with. He had his family to start with. Um, so everything else, went away, was destroyed or whatever. Um, so God protected him and his family, and they started out, a new slate, so to speak. So, if we don't want to go through unnecessary troubles, and want God's full protection, we must trust God and follow His word. Even if it's hard and uncomfortable, we have to remember, though, if we truly believe and truly have the faith, we will be truly, fully protected by God. So that was kind of my spiritual aspect of the Noah's Ark thing. That's in Genesis 6-8, thereabouts. If you want to go back and kind of go through that and read it. But yeah, so even though we're hanging on to God's word, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but keep in mind that we are fully protected if we do what God says and follow His word. I just want to say thanks for stopping by and listening to me, and please subscribe if you would, or at least leave a comment, thumbs up. Leave a comment. I like talking to people on there and just get a conversation going. So, all right, I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you a different view. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.